Today's collectible spot, we are having a look at the Hot Wheels Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, the Batmobile. One would say that this is likely a little more of a small Batmobile versus some of the other Batmobiles that we've gotten from Hot Wheels. I don't know if it is an accurate scale that perhaps the Batmobile is this small, but it does definitely appear to be a little on the tiny side. It is recommended for ages 3 and up. We've got the image of the Batfleck, as they have coined it, the Batmobile at the top there. It says 5 of 5 on the back. No real read-up necessarily. It just says small parts may be generated. Not recommended for ages 0 to 3. For more information, www.hotwheels.com. Spot's going to take a break and get this opened up. When we come back, however, we're going to get a better look at the Batmobile from Batman v Superman. There's more heading away, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Okay, so now that it's out of package, let's get a better look at the Batmobile from the new Batman v Superman. It's an interesting design. I find it's kind of a combination between the Tumbler and the original '89 Batman. I think where I see a lot of the '89 Batman is around the cockpit area of this particular Batmobile, and a little bit on the kind of like this section here, the backside, though of course the original Batmobile from '89 would have had the fins coming out to the side. Excuse me. This little section here, according from what we've seen in the movie trailers, can open up, or at least fan out. So I don't know if maybe we're going to see that with a Hot Wheels release as well, or the tried and true go-to for this Batmobile will always have the fins closed up. Maybe also from a breakage standpoint, they will keep this closed up as well. Where I see a lot of the Tumbler end of it is more around the front and a lot in the back. So I don't know if it got a lot of its nods from those two styles of Batmobile, but it's an interesting design, especially the fact also that this Batmobile has gun turrets on the front, which seems very un-Batman-like, but really if you look at the '89 Batman, he went into the chemical plant with guns a-blazing as well. The Batmobile is basically all black. Where it slightly breaks up is the darker black on the wheels and the darker black on the windows of the cockpit, or canopy section there. It's fairly light too. There's not much weight to this Batmobile either. It does roll very well. There's no issues with the rolling. Just to give you a scale comparison, because you know I'm all about scale comparisons when it comes to Batmobiles. Having a look at some of the other Batmobiles that we've had a look at, and I'll try to put these all in a relative comparison in size. Closest to it, I would say, is probably like the Arkham Asylum Batmobile, which we've also had a look at. It's a little bit bigger in scale to the, Batman v Superman. I guess more closer to scale probably would be like the Arkham Knight Batmobile, which you see a lot of like this also in this. So maybe like Tumbler, maybe a little bit of the Arkham Knight Batmobile, and a lot of the '89 Batmobile. This is just so shiny plastic. You can barely make out the stuff that's on there. At least this is a matte black. Another comparison that we can do, obviously, is the one that we were just talking about, is the '89, or in this case, this is the Batman Returns Batmobile. Same design, though. You can see how very heavily influenced the cockpit windows there are. Just a lot smaller, granted. I mean, seeing if this is an actual scale representation, the '89 Batmobile, same width, just a lot longer though. And finally, another comparison that we can bring in, and again, I don't know if this is correct to scale, but there's the Tumbler next to the Batman v Superman Batmobile. Again, I'm not quite sure if this is an accurate scale representation. The Tumbler looks just incredibly large. I feel like this is maybe a little bit too big versus what it would have been to like a 1-to-1 scale. But I think probably the closest representation, the closest comparison would be these two Batmobiles too. Fittingly enough, a lot of people's personal favorites are still the Tim Burton Batmobile, which I have to admit, the Batman v Superman Batmobile very, very similarly looks close to. Except maybe I think for the back. Spot's also going to be picking up the collector's version. I've actually just ordered it. It hasn't arrived yet, but picked up the the collector's Hot Wheels Batmobile Batman v Superman. So we'll see if that Batmobile varies at all from this particular one, as this was the more standard retail release. I found this one at Toys R Us. Today's collectible spot, we were having a look at the Hot Wheels Batman v Superman Batmobile. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more collectible spots heading your way. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.